lessons. My name is Antwonette Richards. It will be Latrice on my profile. I am getting ready to do my final exam for course DMT005, warm up and stretch techniques. I'll start off by giving the definition for warm up, which would be to increase the muscle temperature to prepare for physical exertion or performance by exercising gently beforehand to prepare the body for, to prepare the muscles for vigorous actions. It generally consists of gradual increase in intensity in physical activity. And it's very important that warm-ups be specific to the activity so the muscles used are activated. Warm muscles both contract more forcefully and relax more quickly. And so that reduces the risk of overstretching a muscle and causing injury. Your overall body temperature also increases, which improves the muscle elasticity. And again, warm-up is bottom line, so we won't hurt ourselves moving on to the stretching and whatever the activity is. And so 3 examples of a warm-up that I would like to include in my final presentation would be, the first one would be jogging in place. Of course, and we know that it doesn't have to be, anything, well, we don't want it to be anything like running. And so it's pretty much jogging in place. Once warmed up some, of course, we can begin to move a little bit, but pretty much just jogging in place. And jogging in place it warms us all over to gradually, and we can gradually increase the movement, like I said, by just kind of picking up our feet completely off the floor. And we can even incorporate arm circles at the time. And then again, as we feel warm, we can kind of move around. And that's going to work the hamstring, the quadriceps, the hip flexors, the glute, the calf muscles, and pretty much all of the legs, the core area, midsection, and it all gets warmed up. Again, like I said, the upper body does receive just a tad bit, but just a very small degree. But we could add some circles, or the next one that I'm going to do is shoulder rolls, which again could be done at the same time. But again, the next one would be shoulder rolls to get the blood flowing through the arms. So it's gently rolling the shoulders and back. I feel like I'm going fast. It should be just, slower. And it's just, and then forward. And again, it's just kind of relaxing, getting prepared for the stretching part. And if there's any stress or tension, what it does is it improves the circulation in the joints. It warms up and stretches the muscles, the tendons, and the joints, and reduce pain and stiffness in the shoulders primarily. Now secondarily, it can help, and it will help in the chest and the upper back, but it's really focusing on the shoulders. Again, just getting the blood circulation going. And then the next one I chose would be leg swings. My apologies, I don't have a chair, but I do have my shelf here, and just leg swings. And what it's going to do is warm up the upper and even the lower body quickly. And I find myself sometimes doing it forward, and I know it, so I had to stop myself, but it's just a leg swing back and forth, and it's gonna work my hips, and it will work the hamstrings, the quads, and the calves even as well. And again, it's important to do all of them, not just these three. You just asked for three, but the warm up is important. As I watched our videos over and over, I continue to hear you say how important it is, so we will not be cause injuries, because cold bodies will cause us to hurt ourselves, will cause us to definitely injure ourselves. Truth be told, that is not something I really, I'm learning a lot of new stuff, period. As well as, of course, I didn't put it in because it couldn't be, example of it. However, you did talk about a passive warm up where we could drink something hot, tea. We could wrap ourselves up. We could put on extra layering of clothing, scarves, already layered up with our worship garments, and then we could put things on top of it to warm us up, get scarf massage, and just things of that type. So that was the warm-up part, and I will move on to the stretching part. I think a lot of the stretching, I didn't. I thought I did them all on the floor. But anyway, stretching is simply to, it's a form of physical exercise which a specific muscle or tendon or a muscle group is deliberately flexed or stretched in order to improve the muscle's elasticity and achieve comfortable muscle tone. The result is a feeling of increased muscle control, the flexibility, and range of motion. It keeps the muscles flexible, strong, and healthy, and we need the flexibility to maintain a range of motion in the joints, because without it, the muscles, they shorten and they become tight. And when we stretch like we should, first warm up and then stretch like we should, it helps us with our balance and helps us with balance and problem to avoid falls. And again, it goes back to help us not harm and injure ourselves. So the first one that I would like to demonstrate is a toe touch, which could be done standing, or it could be done sitting. And so the one is just touching the toes. And of course, if you are not flexible enough, you're not wanting to hurt yourself. I kept hearing you say this as well, something that I didn't know, even though I'm going to the trainer. I never knew that you want, you're gonna feel something, but if it's hurting, then you're overdoing it. So it doesn't have to mean that I'm actually touching, my toes, grabbing my toes, but down far enough to where I feel a stretch and stop if it becomes painful and it's hurting. And continue until, you can touch the toes, as well as on the floor. Same thing, grabbing the toes. Just a good stretch. Again, if I'm not able to do that, I'm going as far as I can until I can move to the toes. And as I gain flexibility, I try to grab the back of my lower legs and just different things like that. So, sorry, let me get back up. What they're gonna do is, it's gonna work the my spine muscles in my lower back. It's definitely gonna work. Sorry, it's going to work my hamstrings. It even works my thighs, my glutes. It's just an all-over stretch. It works the legs, the back, and so that is my toe touch. Then the next one that I chose is a lunge. I chose the lunge because it you can do it forward, you can do it backwards. In reverse, not backwards. You can do it forward and reverse, side, diagonal, just different ways. And it's going to work the gluteus maximus, the hips, the hamstrings, the abductors, the hip flexors, and the quadriceps and the upper thighs. And so, again, many ways, but it's making sure that I'm extended far enough, but not where I'm going to take my knee over the toes. And I've seen it where it was done with the leg straight. Honestly, I do mine with it bent, making sure to hold in the stomach and stretch, a good stretch. Of course, you would do both legs. As well as, again, forward. As well as, so it's different ways, and it's working, again, it's pretty much all of it when you think about it. Your hips, your glutes, and just different areas, and I've said them already, hamstrings, quadriceps. And then so my last one for the warm up. And before I get to that, I do want to give my my 3 references. The first one that I chose, which is one that we use, and while taking the class, really studying it and getting more understanding of them all. So the first one I wanted to use is 1 Corinthians 10:31. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all into the honor and glory of God. Third, John 1:2. I pray that all would go well and that you would be in good health as it goes well with your soul. As well as 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, NIV, and I'm sorry, the last one was ESV, the English Standard Version. I would like to stop and say my apologies. As I'm doing my exam, I realized that I'm stumbling and I have a list. I have braces, and I just got them about a month ago. And so I'm still learning to talk with them, so my apologies offhand. I should have said that from the beginning. And so 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, the NIV, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God. You're not your own. You were bought with a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. As well as Proverbs 31:17, it says, she sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her task. Which just brings us all back to, I'm learning, I can take care of the spiritually as well as much as I want, but it goes to, I also have to take care of my temple as well as the stretching, warming, eating right, exercising. And so the last one that I would like to do is the child pose. To help loosen the back, lower back. It also helps in the legs, the hips, the abductors, hip flexors. It helps, and I think I said the torso. So if I just would get on my knees, and bend, and what I'm doing is just bend and stretch out my arms. As well as I can do my arms back, to the side, and just what I'm doing is stretching that back, the hips, also shoulders, and it works off in the arms as well. So that is, again, my name is Antwonette Richards. That is my warm-ups and stretch final, DMT005. May you be blessed, and I will see you for our next course.